First, I have a thank you, Virginia, for your comment on blame or lack thereof to the families. I know sometimes we felt like morphine might have been killing my father instead of the disease. So I appreciate your comment there. My question is there any legal ramification once you have put a patient on machines, feeding tube, that kind of thing, and then you decide you're not going to do that? If you don't have paperwork in place, say, is there something that can keep you from being able to make that decision for the patient?
Clarify for me, just, are we talking about removing a patient from life support?
Correct.
The easiest way that that happens is when there's family members and we can designate a healthcare proxy, and then we can, with that person explaining what the patient's wishes would be, with that we can withdraw life support. And a lot of times we'll have concurring physicians and what's that? Oh, I'm sorry. But the hardest thing is when the person doesn't have living family members and only a close friend, and we'll have to do an affidavit of a close friend. And the worst case is when the person has no friends or is a ward of the state. That would be that's the absolute worst case scenario.
I'm going to share this with Betsy J because I think she has some information for us that can help.
Thank you. I happen to be the chaplain at Bassett. Yep. There are a couple of instances where life support really cannot be withdrawn in the state of New York, and Chuck alluded to one of those situations. If a patient is, quote, a ward of the state, but that really is a person who has mental retardation and falls in a particular class of patients who are associated with Willowbrook. In that case, it has to go through legal, those folks have legal representation. Another group that is protected are children. And again, it's a question of once you've started life-sustaining measures, it's very difficult to withdraw them. And again, if you think about it, these are the two of the most vulnerable groups of individuals within our society who really do not have ability to make decisions for themselves legally or have the capacity to do so. But in other instances, I think that, yeah, we can, and physicians do choose to withdraw some of the support. Without the benefit of a proxy, you still go through a process of it's kind of surrogacy. So the decision-making falls first to a spouse, if there is a spouse, then to children, then typically to siblings. I'm not sure if it's been passed yet, but there is a law before the legislature in New York which would really establish surrogacy in New York.
Which is why you want to think really long and hard about who you choose as your healthcare proxy. It's not always the person you love the most or who lives the closest to you. It's the person who's going to be able to come in and really understand what you would have wanted and make some very, very tough decisions. So really good to have them, because when there's disagreement, it can be very hard, and it will get into the courts, and it can be nasty. Yeah, and New York State takes a dim view on futility. Well, like, what is a futile treatment? So is this futile? Well, if it's keeping her alive, maybe not.